Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today's the 21st of December 2018. So, yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this last trading day of this week. Where we and of course last trading session. And also last video for this week as well. So yeah, as always. But we're going to have a look at the markets, we'll have a look at the charts as usual, but before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay guys, so now then, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on is the Nasdaq composite. So yesterday, quite a big of a sell-off we had, of course not comparing it to the 19th of December's one, but still nevertheless a continuation here that we had here, managed to reach the level. They managed to reach the low around the 6,451 area, approximately there. So certainly this is going to be our area that we're going to be keeping an eye on, a close eye on. This is going to be our barrier for lower levels, if of course this index wants to continue drifting lower. So in a way, if we're going to get a nice drop here below the 6,450 level, or let's just round it up quickly, this here, and this is when we will aim for the next potential area of support here around the 6,344 level, which was marked here by the low of the 25th of September last year. So good potential area of support here. The only thing is that what we need to keep in mind is, of course, is this enough? Could we see a bit of retracement here, maybe back to the upside before this index would travel back down again? Certainly that's the big question for every trader right now, every trader's head, but certainly what you could in a way look at, if we do get a nice move here above the 6,631 level, approximately there. Now just kind of jumping back into the daily chart just to show you what this level was. This was the previous lowest point of this year, which was reached around the 9th of February, so from which the index managed to push back up here and reach the new all-time highs. But again, yesterday, of course, on Wednesday, we managed to break that level, but never kind of closed below that. But yesterday, not only we broke it again, we also closed the daily candle below this area here, below this lower, previous lowest point of this year. So in a way, certainly this adds a bit more bearishness into the whole near-term outlook. But again, from the very short-term perspective, guys, we could in a way see a bit of retracement here, possibly going back here above the 6,631 level. And if we do get something like this, then yep, we could in a way target these recent areas here of resistance near the 6,869 area, approximately there, or even actually going all the way here towards this slightly thicker line that you see, and that's the year's opening price. So could be a nice potential test, could be a nice potential area of resistance as well. But again, for us to consider such a move, we would need to get a nice good push here above the 6,631 level, and only then we'll aim for these previous levels that were tested. Well, not so far ago. I mean, not so long ago, and they were just tested yesterday and this week as well. So. Again, guys, long story short, keep your eyes on this 6,631 level for today. If we do get a nice pop above this, then yep, we could see a bit more retracement here going back to the upside. And looking at the, of course, looking at the cash indices right now, we are seeing a bit of an uplift here. So in a way, we'll probably open the open here with a gap, but let's see where exactly we'll open. We do still have about 10 minutes left until the opening bell. So yeah, guys, keep your eyes on that one. Let's see how this plays out. But again, like I said, we could see a bit of retracement here to the upside. But again, if we do get a nice pop here above the 6,631 level, this could potentially lead towards slightly higher levels. But then again, just to kind of still remind you guys, the overall outlook still remains bearish, and we are entering now the bearish zone here for this index especially, and yep, further declines are possible, but so that's why be very careful with the upside. Jumping into a few pairs now. So the one I wanted to really show you, and that's Aussie yen. So the Aussie yen, so our risk currency pair here, risk sentiment currency pair, you can see that today it managed to drop lower here, almost managed to reach the October lows, which were near the 78.57 level, but kind of fell shy of a few pips of reaching that. And you can see that the bulls are trying to push this one back up again here. Certainly, as you can see, this week we had quite a steep sell-off. And certainly at some point in time we should get some sort of a retracement here back to the upside. Now, of course, looking at this 4-hour chart here, you can see that the bulls are trying to do that already. They're trying to push this pair back up here. Now, for us to consider higher levels, at least in the short run, guys, we would need to see a nice good push above the 79.26 level, marked by these highs that we saw here today. So in a way, this could open the path towards slightly higher levels like the 79.85, or even actually going all the way here towards this this level right here at around 80.73 zone. Now, it also perfectly coincides here with this R2 that we've got, and also acted as a very nice area of support here back on the 18th of December and also on the 9th of December. So this time, of course, it will play the role of resistance, but in order to kind of get here, we need to see a nice good pop here above the 79.26 initially, and then of course a break of the 79.85. So the key level to watch here for now is this little area here. Today's high is near the 79.26. On the downside, if this suddenly drops below the 78.57 level, well, I mean, doesn't look very good for the bulls, as the bears could take control here, and we could see this one traveling further down here. And if we go back into history now, in order to find a good potential area of support here, we need to go all the way back here towards the end of 2016, where we could then aim for this little area here, this potential area of support. Let me just quickly put this on the chart, and that was approximately around the 70, well, let's round it up actually towards the 78 zone. So this could be our level to watch, the 78 level, marked by near the lows of October, the beginning of October that we saw here. So yep, good potential area of support here, but again, we need to see a nice good drop here below the 78.57 level first in order to consider this 78 level. Jumping into USDJPY, for now, again, this one continues to move lower. Certainly today the candle is already bearish, but the day is not finished, so we could even see maybe a reversal here back to the upside. Maybe even actually looking at this daily chart, if this decides to reverse back up here and moves above the 111.3738 area, approximately there, now this is where we could then potentially aim for a retest of this 200 EMA, shown here as the black line, which would be around the 111.65 area. Could keep an eye on this one, guys, but again, only if we get a nice push above the 111.38 area, which was marked here by the lows of the 26th of October, or in other words, towards the lowest point of October, so it acted as a nice area of support then. So this time could prove itself to be quite a significant level of resistance. But like I said, that's why if we get a nice break above that, we could then travel a little bit higher here, initially aiming for this 200 EMA. But if that doesn't hold, well, further acceleration to the upside could be possible as well. But probably let's do it, just go step by step and see what it wants to do with if it actually wants to travel higher here and break this this level of potential resistance here at around 111.38. On the downside, well, now looking at this chart, looking at this daily chart, we would need to see a good drop below the yesterday's lows that were around the 110.80 zone. So a nice good drop below that level could open the path towards the much lower levels here, like the 110.35, or even actually going all the way towards the lows of the 21st of August here, which were near the 109.75. So for now, guys, be very cautious, be very careful. At the moment, probably try to play it safe. We are quite extended to the downside here, so in a way we could see maybe some sort of retracement back up here. But again, for the upside, as I mentioned before, the 111.38. For the downside, well, keep an eye on the yesterday's lows. A break below that could open the path towards the September lows and the August lows. Euro USD, now looking at this one here, certainly had a nice run this week. You can see that it had a nice push here. Managed to push up back above this short-term upside support line taken from the lows of the 13th of November. But today, finally, we're seeing a bit of retracement here, and it's pushing away. And this is what I was talking about in my morning video here, guys. And I was telling you guys about this level here, the 1.1440 zone. So if it would have broken, well, actually it broke it here, but what I was saying then, that if we get a break here below, then this is what we should be keeping an eye on as the next potential area of support, the 114 level, which perfectly played out here. We managed to test that area, and then now you can see that the bulls are trying to kind of push it back up here. Certainly I doubt that we will get a nice big rally here again today. We are already trading here below the pivot, so that's kind of adding a bit more negativity to all this. So in a way, we probably could get stuck here just slightly above the 114 level, or even the 114.33 area, approximately there where the pivot is. So if we get stuck in this area, certainly it's still overall still looking quite bullish, but nevertheless, stay calm, be careful here, guys, especially going into next week. Now, if this gets closer towards the 114 level, certainly we could see maybe a bit of retracement here, a little bit lower here. So where the next potential area of support could be around the 113.65 zone. But if that's not enough for the bears, we could travel a little bit lower here towards the a retest of this upside support line. So guys, for now, probably for today, we're not gonna probably get much activity here. Maybe we could even stay here around this area between the pivot here and this 114 level. But if this, let's say, suddenly drops below the 114 level, now of course this adds a bit more negativity here, where, like I said, the rate could travel lower in the short run, of course. But for now, judging by the picture that we're seeing here at this point in time, it seems that we could probably stick around here for today and maybe end the day somewhere around this area. So keep your eyes on this one, be very cautious with this one, and for the upside, well, for us to get comfortable with much higher levels, we would need to see a nice good push above the 1.1486 level, which were marked here by the highs of yesterday, or in other words, this week's highs, and only then we'll aim for the psychological 115 level or even higher. So yep, I can see a hello here from Germany. So yep, hello to you, Mashu TV. Yep, so guys, basically now looking at this NZDCAD here, NZDCAD. Now this one's a very tricky one, and probably I need to look at the daily chart here for this one. You can see that we had a nice rally here to the upside since the 5th of October. It was kind of moving higher, but now it entered this little ranging zone here, which is between the 0.9079 level and the 0.9250 area here. So for now, what we're going to do is, of course, we're going to play a bit of a waiting game here. We need to see a nice good break here, either through the upper side of this little short-term range or the downside here. So at the moment it would be a bit difficult to say that which route it would exactly take, because in a way, from one side you could say that this is just a pause here because we're still on an uptrend, and it's just a pause here, so that's why we'll just aim for higher levels. But then again, if this pair wants to continue, let's say, traveling higher in the long run, probably a bit of correction here, a bit more correction to the downside could be good for this pair, and we could see maybe a drop here lower and then another push higher. The only problem here is with such an idea is that if, let's say, this drops lower here and travels all the way here towards the 0.8935 level, this is where it could get held, of course, and because we had a nice area of support here, well, or should I say, the rate got held here on the 23rd of November, so and if we see a rebound from this, well, certainly that could be a bit of a positive, it could be a positive sign for this pair. The only thing is that you should probably keep in mind that we could see maybe something like a head and shoulders here, a head and shoulders formation. But then again, of course, I'm kind of jumping a bit ahead of us, and in order kind of to see this, we need to see, of course, this perfect move here lower and then a move back up here towards a retest of the 0.9079, and then of course a drop back down again. So that's why ignore this in a way for now, just continue monitoring it. Let's see what it wants to do with this range. Let's see if it actually wants to break through the upper side of it or through the lower ones. But until then, until we're gonna be trading within this area here, we're gonna remain neutral for now. Jumping into GBPCHF, the last pair I want to quickly touch on, and that is moving higher here today a little bit. Of course, still also stuck in a range here. From the short-term perspective, also it's stuck here below this little short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 26th of November. But you can see it's kind of failing to drop lower below this 1.2485 level. So which is around here, which is also marked by the inside swing high of the 11th of December. So now it's kind of trying to push back up here. Again, keep on monitoring these levels because we need to see a nice good push here higher. Even if we're going to get a nice push above the this upper side of the range that the pair is trading in, the 1.2590, well, be careful with this little short-term downside resistance line. It could in a way hold the rate down, but if that doesn't hold, if this gets broken, I mean, this could be a nice good indication for the bulls to step in here and potentially drive this one higher here towards the these previous recent highs that we saw in the end of November. And the first potential good one could be around the 128.35 zone, marked here by the highs of the 22nd of November. But on the downside, if this suddenly drops below the 124.85, well, I mean, probably we could in a way brace ourselves for a possible retest of these lows here that we saw around the 10th of December, and that was approximately around the 123.80 level. So yep, keep your eyes on that one, guys. Okay, thank you very much for watching and listening, and I really hope you found it useful, guys. So if you want to join me on Monday, yep, I'll be here on Monday, and as always, 7 o'clock GMT time, my trader's espresso. But for now, for those who are finished for today, I hope you have fantastic evening and weekend, and if you're not in next week, so yep, happy holidays, guys. For those who are still trading, the same thing, but also I hope you have a good successful trading day today. And yep, for those who are still trading next week, see you on Monday, guys. Bye bye.